All right, let's talk about something that feels, well, huge. How in the world do you go from having basically zero income as a student to being financially ready for college? I'm telling you, it's not some kind of magic trick. It's all about turning what you know into a real, solid plan. So let's get right into it. Picture this. On one hand, you've got the typical high school student's income, which is, zero. And on the other hand, you've got this absolute mountain of college costs. We're talking tuition, room, board, the whole shebang. That gap between the two, it can feel massive. Honestly, it can be a little overwhelming, and it's the first time a lot of us really face a financial reality like this.
So, here it is, the big question, right? How do you actually bridge that gap? It can seem impossible from the outside looking in, but I promise you, there is a clear, step-by-step way to get from here to there.
Here's the roadmap for today. First, we're going to tackle the challenge head-on, that leap from $0 to paying for college. Then, we're going to build the foundation, which is basically your personal financial toolkit. With those tools, we'll design the blueprint, your actual transition plan. After that, it's all about the pitch, learning how to tell your financial story. And finally, we'll look at the payoff, because the real-world impact of doing this is huge. Okay, first up, the challenge. Now here's the thing, even if you have zero income, you definitely have a financial life. It's just kind of hidden. You see, most students are living what you could call a subsidized life, and really getting that is the very first step to taking control.
And that brings us to this really important idea, subsidized funds. What are we talking about here? Well, it's all the money that covers your day-to-day life that you don't personally earn. Think about it. The phone bill your parents handle, that streaming subscription, the food in the fridge. The first real goal is to make all these invisible costs visible. That's how you figure out your true financial starting point.
All right, so once you can see those hidden costs, what's next? Well, before you can build any kind of plan, you need the right tools. So this next part is all about a super fast 7-week journey to build your own personal finance toolkit.
And this timeline just lays it all out perfectly. Over 7 weeks, you're building skills, one by one. You start with the basics, like income and expenses. Then you kind of become a detective, hunting for those money leaks. You learn the crucial difference between what you need and what you want. Then you get serious about researching all your options, financial aids, scholarships, work study. From there, you draft a real budget, find the gap, and then, and this is so important, you stress test it. Every single week, you're adding a new powerful tool to your kit.
And all of that work, all those tools you've gathered, brings us to the main event, the blueprint. After 7 weeks of prep work, week 8 is where you finalize everything. This is where all the little pieces of the puzzle click into place to create one powerful, finished plan.
So what exactly is this financial transition plan? Well, here's the key. It is not just a budget. It's a story. It's a document that says, here's where I am now, living on subsidized funds. Here's my goal for the future. And here is my exact strategy for how I'm going to get there. It's your personal roadmap from a supported life to a self-managed one. Okay, so you've got this amazing, finalized plan. Now what? Well, a plan isn't enough. You've got to be ready to talk about it. And that brings us to the pitch. This part is all about presentation prep, taking all that amazing work and learning how to tell your financial story with confidence in just 5 minutes. And this checklist is your secret weapon. You start by explaining your financial starting point, not as a negative, but to show you get it. Then you clearly state your goal, the school, and its real-world costs. Step 3 is the heart of it all, your detailed strategy to pay for it. And you finish with the big lesson, the thing that surprised you most. This last step is huge because it shows you didn't just do the math, you actually grew from the process. Look, at the end of the day, the goal of this pitch isn't about reading off a spreadsheet. It's about proving 3 things. 1, you get the financial reality of what's coming. 2, you've built a smart, realistic plan to meet that reality. And 3, you've actually learned something important along the way. It's a huge demonstration of your readiness. So why does all of this actually matter? Let's talk about the payoff, because I need you to hear this. This whole thing is so much more than just a school project. It is a foundational life skill. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? When you finish this process, you literally have a roadmap for your financial future. You've looked the scary numbers right in the eye, you've broken them down, and you've built a real plan. That feeling of clarity, of being in control, that's the real reward. So this whole experience leaves us with some pretty big questions to ask ourselves. First, do you really feel prepared for the sticker shock of being on your own? Second, what's the real difference between a need and a want when the money's coming out of your pocket? And maybe the most important one, what's one financial habit you're going to change starting today? And that leads us to one last thought. Let's just forget the giant 5-year plan for a second. Think smaller. Think next. What is your number one goal for your very next financial step? Because answering that question, well, that's how the journey from zero to ready really begins.